Tonight I ordered a targeted military strike on the airfield in Syria from where the chemical attack was launched.
President Trump with his first action as commander-in-chief. Tonight, dozens of U.S. cruise missiles launched into Syria. The president calling on all dignified nations to join the U.S. and help put an end to the carnage in Syria, saying no child of God should suffer such horror. I'm Elizabeth Watts. Thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Good evening. I'm Rob Quirk. The U.S. targeted an airfield, as you heard from the president, believed to be where that chemical attack on Tuesday was launched, killing more than 80 people, including a whole lot of children. An order from the White House sent dozens of the U.S. Tomahawk missiles raining down. Here's NBC's Jay Gray, who's with the president tonight in Florida.
Tonight, a U.S. military response after horrific illegal chemical weapons attacks in Syria.
Tonight I ordered a targeted military strike on the airfield in Syria from where the chemical attack was launched.
After discussing options with his military and national security teams from his Mar-a-Lago resort, President Trump ordered the launch of 59 Tomahawk missiles from 2 Navy ships in the Mediterranean Sea, targeting the Sharat Air Base in the Homs province of western Syria, where U.S. officials believe Syrian President Bashar al-Assad initiated the use of deadly nerve gas that killed at least 100 earlier this week.
Assad choked out the lives of helpless men, women, and children. It was a slow and brutal death for so many.
President Trump's first major mission as commander-in-chief signals a shift in focus for the U.S. troops in the region, previously centered on the ongoing fight against ISIS, but now the administration clearly questioning Assad's leadership.
Tonight I call on all civilized nations to join us in seeking to end the slaughter and bloodshed in Syria.
As the fight in Syria now intensifies. Jay Gray, NBC News, with the president in Palm Beach, Florida.
And Syrian TV said there were losses after the attack, but U.S. officials told NBC News people were not targeted. Aircraft and infrastructure at the site were hit, including the runway and gas fuel pumps.
Now, within the hour, I went one-on-one with retired 4-star General Gene Renuart, former commander of NORAD and Northern Command here in Colorado Springs. He told me it was an appropriate response to the chemical attack, but just as important, he said, a clear message from President Trump.
I think it is refreshing to see that a president will take a strong stand against an atrocity like this and back up his word with clear actions. I think the strike we saw tonight was very clearly targeted at the apparatus that made this happen, but it sends a message on a much broader scale, certainly to the Assad regime, I think to the Russians to a degree, but it also sends a message around the world, both to our allies and our potential adversaries, that this is an era where the president will act upon his word.
And I pressed General Renuart on the Russian question, a clear ally of Syria, about where our relationship with them goes from here.
I think that the relationship between the United States and Russia is in a very interesting balance right now, or maybe sense of imbalance, in that while we clearly would like for negotiations to be the solutions to issues, we also are going to stand on our ground.
There comes a point where
you have to act, and that's exactly right. And I think this will begin to reshape, or continue to shape, maybe is a better term, the relationship between President Putin and President Trump as we go forward.
General Renuart believes the U.S. acted on the best intelligence that Syria is, in fact, responsible for that chemical weapons attack. And interestingly enough, he told me the U.S. military may have actually given the Russians a heads up that this attack was coming to get their people out of the way.
We just heard from Republican Congressman Doug Lamborn of Colorado Springs, who told News 5 in part, Syrian President Assad continues to act far beyond the norm of civilized leaders. Unlike the previous administration, which walked away from similar outrages, President Trump willing to send a clear signal of U.S. opposition to crimes against humanity. And Colorado Democratic Senator Michael Bennet told News 5 in part the Assad regime must be held accountable for these atrocities, but he added moving forward, any military action must be conducted in consultation with Congress and considered as part of an articulated strategy to address the ongoing crisis.